Inspired. Hey, people, let's open up a new document. That's not how you do it. Escape. You get all these windows popping up sometimes. You don't want to see it. Just escape. Just escape. Menu. Hit the menu button. Add a calculator. Okay, I'll do that. So I want to do some inverse trig. Anytime you're working with trig, you gotta look up here and see if you're in radians or degrees. All right. You want to switch back and forth. You can swipe. You click on the settings little icon there, document settings. You can switch back and forth between radian and degree. Just make sure after you make the switch, you hit OK. Now it's in degree. Now, I'm going to show you a little workaround though. But so if we're in degrees, let's say you want to do like what's the sine of 30 degrees. I mean, again, one that most you probably have memorized, but since you already have memorized, we'll know that you got the right solution too. So when you hit the trig button, see that little trig button? Everything lives in here. Sine, cosine, tangent, cosecant, secant, cotangent, and all the inverse ones as well. So if you want to do sine of 30, you just type it in, think about it. What's it going to be? What's it going to be? You got it. It's a half. Of course. Um, if you accidentally typed in like you did the sine and you thought you were in radians, so you did pi over 6. Now again, one quick way to do fractions that I always like to tell people is hit control divide. I don't know, I just like that. Now you can go get the pi button. You can also simplify things by just typing in pi if you prefer. All right, so we're gonna do pi over 6. All right, we hit enter. Now notice it just gives me back exactly what I put in. Why? Because it's an exact form. What if I want to see what that is in decimal form? Then I would hit approximate, or I would put a decimal point in there. So if I hit control enter, it'll give me a decimal. But we all know that that's not what the sine of pi over 6 is because we're in degree mode. All right, this probably came up in a previous video, but I'm going to show you again because it's that important. If you wanted to not convert back into radians by going in the settings every single time, what you could have done is when you have this sine of pi over 6 is you go back into the little pi land, home, base, R stands for radians. What that's doing is that's using pi over 6 as radians, and then you get the half. Yay, that's great. All right, let's say you were in radian mode and you didn't want to switch it out of radian mode. Actually, let's just do that. So document settings, let's go to radian mode and hit enter. All right, and let's say we want to do cosine. Now, I could go into cosine in the trig thing. I could also type in COS. All right, so let's say I want to do the cosine of 45 degrees. All right, now I'm in radian mode. All right, so if I hit just cosine of 45, I'm going to hit, again, let's just see what the wrong answer would be. All right, that is not 45 degrees. That's 45 radians. All right. So in order to make that degrees, again, since I'm in radian mode, the quick, easy way of doing that is just doing cosine of 45 and then hit the pi button. There's the little degree symbol. So now it's going to do cosine of 45 degrees, root 2 over 2. Yay. So that's a quick way of dealing with sine and cosine. And you want to put it in radians and degrees without having to change it every single time. You can just put the little R for radians or the little degree sign in. Now, let's do some inverse. All right, so let's take the arc sine of 1/2. So again, you hit the trig button, arc sine 1/2, enter. There it is in radians. Now, if you want that in degrees, there is a nice little, actually, it's not much of a shortcut to tell you the truth, but there is a way to do the conversion without having to switch it back over. I mean, obviously, you can multiply it by 180 over pi, but the calculator will also has a little bit of a shortcut. Unfortunately, it doesn't have a nice home outside of the catalog, the library. So you click on this guy, and under the fourth one right there, see this little arrow? So if you hit that arrow, and then you type in DD, that will convert it into degrees. DD, I mean, you could even lowercase and it recognizes it. That will put it from radians into degrees. There it is. All right. And that's kind of it. Let's do the other. Let's switch it back. Let's go. Let's imagine that we are in. Not imagine. Not imagine. Let's just do it. Let's put it in degree mode. All right, and then um, let's do arctan of 1. 45 degrees. It's in degree mode. If I want to put that into radians, and I didn't know that 45 degrees was pi over 4 radians, here's how you can put that into radians. So again, you go into the little catalog thing, click this guy, and then you type in rad for radian. And it puts it in radians for you. That is it, people. All right, time to go make myself something to eat because I'm hungry. I am hungry. After watching that video, I'm sure you're hungry too. So why don't you join me? Bye.